Yo, what's going on guys? It's Res. In this video, I want to talk about what I think are going to be the two best primary weapons going into the Witch Queen. If you saw from the thumbnail, you probably know that these are two of the prophecy weapons, the Judgment and the Last Breath. But I want to go more in depth and talk about why these are going to be really good for the updates to come. So if you guys do enjoy this, find it helpful, consider doing all the normal YouTube stuff. It really helps me out and our community grow by getting these videos out there for everyone to see. I truly appreciate it. All right, so starting off, it's best to just understand what these guns actually are and how they perform. So the Judgment is a 140 round per minute hand cannon, on top of the Last Breath being a 600 round per minute auto rifle. Both of those archetypes are already pretty decent PvE as it is, but what makes it really good is some of the perk combinations that they can get. Now, for most of these videos, I normally will go over every single thing you can get, but I'm going to mainly talk about just two things over here on why I think they're going to be really good. So if you guys would like to see more in-depth videos, be sure to stick around and let me know what you guys like to see in the comments below, and I will definitely get around to them. But for this one, the main thing we're going to be talking about is the fact that it can roll Adrenaline Junkie and Demolitionist. Now, if you don't really understand why that is good, first off, let's just kind of go over the basics. That Demolitionist is a perk that when you get a kill, it's going to give you some grenade energy back, and when you throw your grenade, your gun is reloaded. And for the next one, basically Adrenaline Junkie is grenade final blows are going to grant bonus damage and handling for a moderate duration. Problem with this is that it's only a 33% damage bonus when you get a grenade kill. Your grenade takes super long to cool down. Even with something like Demolitionist, it's still just not worth it when you could take things like Frenzy or even One for All in this weapon, or just take Rampage on other weapons. But they actually are going to be buffing Adrenaline Junkie, and that is what the main point of this video is, and that is going to be the Adrenaline Junkie buff. So as you see, Adrenaline Junkie, this wasn't performing as well as intended, and the path of least resistance was to make it live up to the dev name Grenade Buckler. So obviously Grenade Buckler is going to be probably very similar to Swashbuckler, which I'll get into in a second. So it says eliminations with this weapon can add single damage stacks or extend existing ones. Then grenade eliminations boost the stack immediately to ×5 and lower the duration to compensate for weapon activation. So this is basically just getting the Swashbuckler treatment, just it's going to be, like they said, Grenade Buckler. So if we go over here, if you don't know what Swashbuckler actually does, we can take a look at this really quick. And basically, this weapon gains increased weapon damage for melee kills and kills with this weapon. So as you see at ×5, it is 33% damage, but it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instead of it being on something like Rampage, which is just 1, 2, 3. Rampage takes a little bit less to get to 33% more damage. But obviously with Swashbuckler, you have two ways to proc it, and this is going to be the exact way I'm assuming Adrenaline Junkie is going to work, just except replace the melee part with grenade. So you might be asking yourself now, well, Res, why is this going to be so good, and like what's the point of me running this over some of the new weapons maybe? And that's the fact that Bungie normally doesn't put perks like demo in the other column. The exception right here is the Jack King Queen. This is one of the few weapons that can actually roll something like this. If you think back to Kindle Orchid, you can get Rampage and Kill Club. Some of the two really good perks are not ever in the same column. Even on something like Fate-Breaking that's down the game, you can get Explosive Payload and Frenzy, which is insanely good as well. But this is going to be a new type of beast, because obviously now you had something like this before where most people run Demolitionist and Rampage, but you could also run Demolition Swash. But now if you go over back to the Judgment, again, you're going to have Demolitionist and Adrenaline Junkie. And the reason that's going to be so good is obviously they pair together. You get a grenade kill, your gun's reloaded, you get max damage, you're getting grenade energy back when you get kills. It's easier to get kills because you have more damage, and it's going to be an insane perk combination, especially for just like strikes or just any form of new activity or whatever. Obviously, if you're going to something like Grandmasters, you're still going to want your Frenzy rolls, your Explosive Payload rolls, or even Tom Payload on this thing. But just for general play, Demolitionist Adrenaline Junkie is going to help out with so many builds on top of what is already coming with the changes to cooldowns. You're going to be able to do some crazy stuff with this, like insanely crazy stuff, and I cannot wait. I'm super excited. And another thing is obviously with Witch Queen coming out, there's going to be a new season, and hand cannons were not in the rotation this season for seasonal mods, but I guarantee hand cannon mods will definitely be in rotation for Witch Queen. But if you just want a general roll on what you can get, obviously taking something like range on a hand cannon is really good, but we are specifically talking about for PvE with this build. So if you want to go something like reload speed, you can as well. So taking something like tactical mag is always good. You get an extra magazine plus some stability and reload speed. If you want to go something like reload speed masterwork, you can as well. Then honestly, whatever site you prefer. If you want something like sure shot for more range, you can. But honestly, I would just go with something like fast draw or steady hands, just to get some constant benefits, no negatives at all, and you get that extra bullet in the magazine, get a nice reload speed stat, and you're going to be able just to slay with this thing. It's going to be really, really good. You're going to get grenades come back like crazy, and I'm super excited to farm one of these out myself. Now, the last breath is the exact same way. You have Demolitionist and Adrenaline Junkie. If you're more of an auto rifle person, this can be really, really good, and also it's going to be really good for this season as well, because obviously there's anti-barrier auto rifle. So if you want to run something like armor pierce around, you can, to make it easier to take out the anti-barrier shields. On top of that, you're also getting your Demolitionist and Adrenaline Junkie, all your grenade energy. Then again, taking something like Arrowhead Break or just whatever you want to take just to buff some of your stats up. If you want range, obviously you can go for the range ones, but just taking something to get not any negative benefits in PvE is honestly what I prefer. Then again, reload speed mask works really good for both weapons. Mono spec mods are going to be really good because you're mainly just using these to kill trash ads to get your grenade and get your damage up. Like I said, this is just for general play. Again, for GMs or just in-game content, or maybe even the new rate, taking like your Frenzy, Explosive Payload, Fate Bringer probably is going to do you better, or any other just in-game primary weapon that you would normally use, even maybe something like a bow or a scout rifle. But just for general play, strikes and everything like that, these two weapons are going to be insanely good, especially for build crafting, which is what I'm most excited for, especially with Void 3.0. Going to be super, super fun. But let me know if you guys are going to farm for these and what you would like to see on yours. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.